This is DRF, Race of the Day. Hi, everybody. Dan Illman, Mike Beer, the DRF Race of the Day for Wednesday, September the 1st. Race number 4 at Saratoga. Let's throw up the field. Non-winners are 2 other than optional claimer. Now, the feature race on Wednesday at the Spa is the graded with anticipation stakes for 2-year-olds. Nicole Russo and I will cover that race for the edition of Spa Babies presented by Spendthrift Farm. Download free formulator past performances for this optional claimer on the Race of the Day event page at DRF.com. Access them, handicap along with us. The 1 Ice Princess at 4 to 5 is entered main track only. The 5 Singita Dreams, 6 to 5 is entered main track only. And the 8 Clara Peters is 7 to 5, despite not having raced in a year.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how short Clara Peters goes if this race stays on turf, and it feels like it should stay on the turf. We haven't seen her in over a year, Dan, but her starts last year after she arrived in North America, they were all pretty good.
Key handicapping component of this race is the pace. And we'll throw up the Timeform US pace projector, and you'll see why. Gray bar, no speed. And if that's the case, advantage Tass, who has route speed and stretches out after 2 sprints to begin her campaign.
Yeah, I mean, it just feels like in this kind of a field where nobody else is necessarily that fast, you just might see her, break off onto the lead here and just try to back this thing down. We'll see if it works to her advantage. It certainly could. She's run some good races going longer, Dan. I don't know that, if all of these horses just show up and run their best race, if Taz is necessarily the horse that you want, but she could have a big early advantage in here. And it just feels like stretching out third off the layoff is probably a good thing for her.
I agree. And you look at her 2 starts and she's come back, Mike. I mean, she was placed in a hopeless situation in the Caress off of a lengthy layoff against Caravel, who's an extremely good turf sprinting mare. Last time out, sprinting yet again. What did you think of that trip? The chart caller didn't think much of it.
Yeah, it's hard to say because, well, first of all, it's just hard to say because it feels like that might not have been a great field. And when you get races like that, Dan, where the whole field sort of hits the wire together, I don't think you want to be making too many excuses for horses. That being said, Taz was always off the pace, always over behind horses in there. Tried to get up through the inside. Somebody beat her to that spot, and she just wound up, in behind horses all the way down to the wire. I'm not going to sit here and suggest she was going to win, but she certainly didn't have a great trip.
Timeform US believes that Choate Bridge can be close to the pace. This will be her second start off of a minor layoff. Beaten 3 lengths in a stake at Indiana Grand last time out. She probably fits very well from a class standpoint against this group.
Yeah, and it feels like she can fall into the right trip here. I mean, she's a little bit tactical. Certainly got a great trip last time in that little stakes race at Indiana. Just sat right in behind. The rail was open for her. She wasn't good enough that day. Maybe this is a little bit of an easier spot. I don't know. I was a fan of hers early on, Dan. She never really turned out to be as good as I thought she was going to be.
Here's a Michael Maker special. The 4 Sun Summers was claimed for $40,000 in 2020. She is now multiple stakes placed against fellow Florida breds. Here's her most recent start against Similar at Saratoga on August the 1st, and she's going to end up running an okay third in this race. This field is fine. Miss Tehran wins this race, came back and ran second in a stake at Monmouth last week with an 89 buyer. You could argue that maybe this field was actually slightly better than the one she's going to be facing on Wednesday.
Yeah, I think it was. I think it's the same level. I think this is a better field that Sun Summers ran in. She also got a really good trip in here, Dan. I mean, she wasn't as close as she usually is, but there was a long shot just sort of running off on the early lead in there. This horse sat back off in about mid-pack. There was nobody near her. Saez swung her to the outside at the top of the stretch. She was okay to be third in there without ever looking like she was going to win. She's another horse. I'm not a huge fan. She can win this race.
In a Hurry showed additional speed with the addition of blinkers last time out. She got right up close to a very slow pace, and she ended up running on second behind a useful horse. California Queen won that race, came back to run second in a grade 3 at Monmouth, third in a grade 2 at Saratoga with buyers in the 90s. So this is probably some class relief, and with the additional early foot, maybe she can end up in a great spot considering the pace scenario.
Yeah, I think all those things are true. That was a pretty tough field last time. Another race where, Dan, I thought she got a good trip. Never looked like she was going to win, but was pretty game to get second. 3 starts back. She's in against Pocket Square. Prior to that, the aforementioned Miss Tehran. So she's kept good company. She's still lightly raced enough that I think you can hold out some hope that she'll take a step forward.
The 7 Lake Lucerne, the Godolphin homebred, trained by Brendan Walsh, is going to be hoping for some pace because she has no speed whatsoever. And last time out, we saw that in the race we saw where Sun Summers finished third, Lake Lucerne finished fifth, and she was just completely out sprinted early. She swung to the outside, closed in between horses. She ran okay. She galloped out okay. She's the kind of filly that I think has some ability and fits well, but she might need the setup.
Right, and this race might not set up well at all for her. I also sort of felt like that maybe she is the kind of filly who wants firm turf, and she didn't get that last time. I don't know. I don't know how many excuses I really want to make for her. I actually liked her in that race last time. I thought that race was going to set up really well for her and that she would kick hard. And it set up okay, I guess. I don't want to say she was badly compromised, but maybe it didn't set up quite well enough. I thought she ran okay and can do better.
The key handicapping factor in the race is pace. The key horse in the race is the favorite, the 8 Clara Peters, because we haven't seen Clara Peters in over a year. She's running against some legitimately good horses in her last 2 starts, Sweet By and By and Blowout and Viadera. Certainly no horses that caliber in this race. What are we going to get off the long layoff? I don't know. I trust Brad Cox. I'm not sure I would trust Brad Cox at 7-5.
Right. I mean, that's the whole thing. Obviously, nobody's going to be surprised if she comes back, runs her good race, and beats this field. How short a price do you want to take on that? I guess that's up to you. I was going to try to beat her in here. I do think, again, I thought all 4 of her starts when she got over here last year, I thought she ran really well in all of them. And I do think she's the horse to beat. I just don't know if I want to bet her at a short price.
She is the horse to beat. Let's see who we're going to try to beat her with in the Wednesday DRF race of the day. You're going with the logical speed. Tass, I like the way Carlos Martin's prepared her. 2 sprints, stretch out, main speed, gate to wire potential.
Right, and that's why I took her. I mean, outside of Clara Peters, who I don't want to be too hard on yet, I just sort of feel like the rest of these horses, Dan, they're fine. There are no superstars in here. So if this is the kind of race where Taz can shake loose early, she might be pretty tough to run down.
Lake Lucerne can't come from 10 out of it in this field. They're not going to be going fast, and if that's the case, she's in big trouble. I wonder if there's going to be a little bit of an accordion effect, and there are 3 lengths separating the field, turning into the stretch. It turns into a sprint for home, and maybe Lake Lucerne takes advantage of the layoff of Clara Peters with a strong kick. I think she'll be a playable price. 7,864 for me, 2,873 for Mike. Interesting race. Not a big field, but an interesting race for our Wednesday race of the day at the Spa. Best of luck.